How you doing?
Good morning, Joe. Great to be here, brother.
Hey,
Thanks
man.
for having me.
I appreciate you being up early with us this morning. That's a beautiful thing about you coaches. You guys work radio hours. Yeah, check that. You might work even more than radio hours. So, hey, a lot of stuff to get to. First of all, that big recruiting class. How many of those guys will be here for spring football?
Well, we've got currently 23 of them are on campus right now.
Wow.
Yeah, man, that's amazing because 25 signed, 23 is already on campus. That's huge. Question is, who's the two that's not on campus? But hey, let's continue listening.
Yeah, we signed in total, I believe, 33 guys, maybe another one in there. But we're still on the hunt for more. We still have about 5, 6, 7 pieces that we'd like to add to.
Okay, I get it now. Clarify. All the kids in the transfer portal included, so some of the recruits that came out of high school might still not be on campus yet. Got it. So some of the transfer portal guys are already on campus, mixed in with recruits.
To the roster, and it gives us an opportunity to really enhance ourselves at several positions. And the guys that are here right now, they, so far, they have lived up to, I would say, the billing physically, right? The way they've attacked their work, got a chance to work with them. But even more so impressively, the way that the older guys have taken them in and the way they've adjusted to a very demanding and tough culture. So it's been great to be around them. And again, next Saturday we kick off spring ball, so we're pretty fired up, man.
So let me ask you, you're not done with the transfer portal. You still expect to add more to certain positions. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I mean, they'll be the first go around with the springtime transfer portal, right? So you've got to you've got to determine what you want coming in, and then you got to be ready for a couple more things to go out, right?
Yeah.
Or set yourself up so you can make room to bring some more people in. So it's a little bit of both, but either way, we're prepared. We feel that certain positions are ready to play for this 2023 season, and others still need a couple of enhancements or some more depth or some more experience. So it's as you know, that part of it is never ending.
Yeah.
So it sounds like Mario's not finished with the transfer portal yet. As you guys know, spring coming up and everything like that. After spring, I think you'll be able to, get more guys in, transfers, get them on campus, that kind of stuff, visits and all that good stuff. So we'll see. I don't think this team is complete. Mario sound like it ain't, so we'll see, man.
Yeah, so is wide receiver still on that list, or do you feel better about it? And can you share some of the other positions you're looking to still add depth to?
Well, I think two things. We definitely feel better at wide receiver, not only because of the two guys that have joined us, but the tremendous, I would say, just uptick in the levels of commitment and levels of performance so far by some of the guys that have been here.
Wow.
You got
the two guys that he's talking about that's coming in is Nathaniel Joseph and Bobby Washington.
like Jacoby George and Brashard Smith have taken a tremendous step up. I think part of it, too, is, Shannon Dawson's here, and it's an offense that does a really good job getting the ball in the hands of playmakers. So, but all of a sudden, these guys have gained 8, 10, 12 pounds, and they're grinding, and they're working. And it's really good to see. And you know what? It's that time in a guy's career when that's got to kick in. But guys like Isaiah Horton haven't had a chance yet. That guy's looking great. Restrepo's always busted his butt and done really well. And then, you got guys like Ray and Robbie. Those guys, impressive dudes now. They can flat out roll. So we'll be looking to add a couple more there. And there's other positions, too. You can never have enough defensive linemen. We have a lot of guys on the men heading into spring ball. Experience anywhere, a guy that can play man coverage, truly a true nickel.
Right.
Another corner or safety. You're always looking for guys at different positions, and then you got to see how you come out health-wise out of spring.
All right, so let's talk about the big news. You just mentioned it, Shannon Dawson. I think some people are a little surprised. Houston offensive coordinator with his background with the air raid and the spread offense, and people are going, wow, we don't know. Tell me what you
Yeah, what Joe Rogan is trying to say, Joe Rose, I'm sorry. I don't know why I say Rogan. But what he's really trying to say is people are surprised you picked the air raid guy. They thought you was running the ball to death kind of guy. That's tough.
think this offense is going to look like and what you and Shannon Dawson have talked about as far as going forward with his passing numbers that he's been able to put up everywhere he's been?
Yeah, well, he's an elite play caller and quarterback coach, and he has part of his career is being in the air raid system. But what you've seen over the course of the last several years, those guys have really they've transformed. They've evolved into guys that get downhill in the run game with power and counter and split zone and wide zone and pin and pull and all that good stuff. And he's delved more and more into it. And whatever he's had, he's made work. If he's had good running backs, they've run the heck out of the ball. If he's had good receivers and quarterbacks, they've thrown it around pretty well. So what we expect is just a very explosive enhancement to our offense, and a guy that really knows how to get the ball in the hands of the playmakers, especially with a really fortified, enhanced offensive line.
So the other side, going to the defensive coordinator, Lance Guidry takes over. Really impressive numbers across the board, what he did at Marshall last year. What?
Now, this is my first time listening, guys, so I kind of want to, I'm kind of wondering, will he ask about Charlie Strong, why he didn't get an interview and all that good stuff, but I doubt he will, but I'm just saying.
What was it, though, that you said, hey, what was there one specific thing? Was it adjustments? Was what he did with the talent that he had that you said, I want this guy to be my DC?
Yeah, there were a couple things. And one was schematically, he's just really hard to play against. And I've played against him before. You're not sure where that pressure's coming from. The coverages are disguised. You're not getting the same picture every snap. And that makes it really hard for an offense, for linemen, for quarterbacks. And that's one thing we had to take a drastic step in. As last year we were implementing a system that was, again, it was implemented, and we stayed vanilla throughout the course of the year. This gives us a chance to be just really dynamic and very, very hard to figure out. But
was Kevin Steele's defense vanilla? That's a huge statement right there, Mario. Y'all let me know in the comment section how y'all feel about that.
The part that I love about him, he gets his guys to play really, really, really damn hard. Okay? I mean, they are flying all over the place and knocking people around. They get to the ball in a hurry. They get there with bad intentions, and they finish. They're good tacklers. They're schematically aware of where their help is. Just, again, to rack up those kind of numbers statistically in a league where they move the ball really, really well, and then going and playing Notre Dame and have the type of performance that they have when you're at a talent disadvantage. This is both guys are exactly what we need.
Mario, I always wonder, how hard is it? You had that coaching staff together for 1 year, and a lot of guys are gone. How hard is it to step back after you work with those guys all the time and go, man, this is not going to work with what I want, or we're not getting the most out of for the different reasons you make those changes? How difficult is that? And when did you have a pretty good idea you're going to have to make some changes?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's as hard as I guess it's perceived to be, if that makes sense. And the reason being is that
before Mario answers, let me say this. Shout out to 560 Sports WQAM. This live audio is coming from Odyssey.com. Of course, the Joe Rose Show. No copyright intent, no fragment intent. Just basically wanted to give the people my critique, my commentary, and thoughts on the show. This is an 19-minute show. So if anybody at Odyssey or at the Joe Rose Show have a problem with this, please reach out to me. My email is in the comment section down below. Let's continue. So Mario, now we'll go back to explaining basically hiring and firing process.
Look, in football, people either move on, or you help them move on, or you just have to make a change. It comes in different ways, and it's hard to tell for what reasons, right? Sometimes it might be a family thing. A guy's got to go. Sometimes the guy's not performing up to that level, and he's not going to match the culture. And you certainly don't put that dirty laundry out there. You just you help them find a place, because if they worked hard and they're good people, you know what? They deserve that respect. And I've been taught to be a professional about that. Help people move on, and then just you got to have the realistic approach of every time there's a change, whether it happened or whether you force it to happen, it's an opportunity to upgrade. And you have to live by that. And then you approach the process with those intentions, and you'll find more times than not that actually happens. You get to upgrade. You get to bring new and fresh ideas, and you find things, well, man, I really wanted it this way. Let's go this route, and you get it. So it's not as hard as it seems. It actually, it's pretty exciting. It gets you an opportunity to get better.
Let me ask you about this recruiting class. It's got a lot of star power in it. How quickly you expect? I know those guys playing spring football really help themselves because those growing pains of those spring football practices and scrimmages are fantastic. But this young class, you expect a lot of them could be playing a lot of football for you on offense and defense?
Absolutely. And, on top of that, there's a lot of guys on the men heading into spring ball. So, guys are going to be getting a ton of reps. There won't be a lack of opportunities for these guys. But, yeah, this is what Miami's recruiting classes should always look like, right? And there's several years of a gap where that hasn't been the case, thus creating a talent deficiency in a roster that's not Miami-like. So this is a really good start to getting back on track to what Miami needs to look like. And the best part about these guys, again, they're ultra-talented, and I understand all that, but they're humble and they're hungry. And you know what? You could push them and coach them hard because this offseason has been a tremendous test and a challenge for them, and they've done nothing but respond. So, and again, credit to the older guys that have taken them in and really done a good job of enhancing the culture.
Tyler Van Dyke.
Sound like Mario was saying that, hey man, the new guys, the guys that's already on staff, on the team, on the roster that didn't depart, are some tough guys. Sound like he's saying the ones that left, they soft. He ain't said it, I said it. So don't take that. Don't take that to the bank. Okay, but let's continue anyway. Tyler Van Dyke.
We haven't heard much from him. I'll be honest, Mario, I was concerned he might be hitting the transfer portal for a split second. Were you ever concerned about that? And how many discussions over the last few months have you had with your quarterback?
Well, the thing I was concerned about most was surrounding him with the caliber of talent that a guy like that needs to have to be successful. You know what I mean? You got to be able to block him up. You got to be able to open, and you got to be able to scheme it open too now, right? So, systematically, it just didn't fit, man. Look, those systems were phenomenal when we were at Alabama and at Oregon. The track record is what it is. They worked, and they worked well. But when you're in a roster transition and whatnot, and it doesn't quite fit, well, you have to keep finding tweaks, and you got to keep finding ways to make things work. And we didn't do a good enough job when the injuries piled up. We just didn't. It was difficult, but we didn't. And so Tyler to me is a guy that, besides the fact he's a really good football player, Joe, he doesn't get enough credit because a lot of guys would have ran to the hills, man.
Right.
Oh, I'm not getting this. Oh, I'm not getting this. It's not happening. And instead, all he did was, he was instrumental in getting a lot of these guys on board and signing them. This guy altered a trip to go see his family, turned that, had the plane turn. Didn't have the plane turn around, but touched base, flew back, and participated in recruiting weekends that made this class what it is. So he's the guy is really motivated and focused on having a great season and having a great football team. So a lot of credit to him.
I think hearing this, man, I got a newfound respect for Tyler Van Dyke. I ain't even gonna lie. Went out there and helped secure the class, according to Mario. We see players all the time, contribute to recruiting. We also see players sometimes, tell recruits not to come here. Not gonna say no names. Romello Branson. It is what it is, man. But tremendous. Could have spent time with his family, took a little break or whatever. But hey, decide that, hey, man, the show don't stop. Hey, that's what's up, Tyler.
Mario, with a limited amount of coaches, it's not an NFL amount, 25 to 26 coach thing that you see. How important is the recruiting? Guys that recruit like you, to bottom line, that are just known as great recruiters versus really good coaches that maybe don't recruit as well. Can you have both on your 10-man coaching staff, or does everybody like, hey man, no matter what, I know you're good at X's and O's and development, but man, I need you to get out there and get involved in teenage recruiting. How's that break down for you?
Oh, well, every coach has got to be able to be both. You can't hire a bad coach that can recruit. There's no room for that anymore. I think back in time in football, you could have maybe a combination of both. I don't think you can do that anymore. You got to have guys that have to have that balance, because you've got to orchestrate and split your days up where you've got to handle both. Because look, your best recruiters are your own players. And if you're a coach and you don't know what the heck you're talking about, well, you know what? Your players are going to let people know now. Okay. It's like, hey, I always like the example of Panay Sewell. He's a 375-pound giant, right? But you know what? At 19, when he was a 6th or 7th overall pick, you know what that is? Combination of talent and making sure a guy gets in the system, right? Pumping out 3 top 10 picks in 3 straight years. That's, hey, get the talent, but develop it and go win games. So you've got to have both. I don't think you could have guys that just do one and not the other. There's a recruiting department that can be helpful in that, and some analysts that can lean more one way or another, but not one of your 10 coaches.
So I think it's fair to say when guys say, offensive coordinator, hire Dan Mullen, I think this is a head. Nah, we can't do that. Dan Mullen don't like to recruit and this, that, and the third. So guys like him wouldn't fit in Mario's system. So I think in the future, when it comes to hiring coaches and stuff like that, I think we can keep the guys' name off the list, the ones that can't recruit. Plain and simple.
So I got to ask you, just because we talk so much about you and the Canes, what was going through last year like for you? I'm just curious as you look back through your first year, and I know you didn't get enough wins, but what was it like going through the growing pains and through your first season as head coach with the Canes?
Well, I mean, it's kind of looking from afar. Obviously I studied Miami inside and out. We knew it was going to be a very difficult challenge. We knew it. Now, is it difficult in terms of just the results? Of course. I mean, we've been 10, 11 straight years of, in December, you're either playing for a conference title, a national title, a Rose Bowl. I mean, you become very, not only used to it, but you're addicted to that, But you also are realistic there's a reason we were brought here, and it wasn't because things were going well, There had to be a complete upheaval of, especially culture-wise, the capacity to work, right? The ability to press and push and be able to, just be a team that can face adversity and overcome it, and then close a huge talent gap where, I think it's clearly defined in the fact that the University of Miami has always dominated the draft, always. And then the last 5 years, really the worst 5 years in Miami history as it relates to the draft, right?
Right.
That's not by accident. That falls on recruiting, and an organization is responsible for doing that. So we knew we had to fix that. And you know what? It stinks. It hurts. It keeps you up at night. And you better be a tough son of a gun and wake up every day and go back to work, because when you sign a class like this, when you retain the right kind of players that are committed to doing it a certain way, you realize, you know what? This is like deja vu, 97, 98, 99. Some of the
guys, take a second, a quick break just to hit that like button for me. Also, subscribe to the channel if you ain't already.
The other years that we've had here. So you're ultra excited. The enthusiasm is through the roof. Our players now know, man, we're surrounded by some really good players and coaches. And then the best part is the other players out there that we're recruiting, they want to play with elite players. And they're seeing the type of players that are coming here. So this thing now starts building upon itself, and sky's the limit.
Hey, Mario, I'll leave you with this. I heard it. It was a great story, and I've heard it, and I don't know your wife at all, but I hear great things. I did not know your wife's not afraid to help recruit if my husband needs it. I heard she is unbelievable in this whole project. I had no idea. I've heard nothing but great things. Mario and you probably don't talk very much about your family, but I just thought, what a great compliment, man, that the wife's all in on this. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, she's an Army brat. You know, she's the daughter of a retired colonel in the Army. You know, twin sister's brother was actually a West Point grad as well. So, yeah, I mean, she just tolerating my butt. I think deserves a Purple Heart. You know, so all the hours that we put. But she and the other wives, they're just great human beings. Now, don't ask them about football because they couldn't tell you what a third down is or a first down is. So, but in terms of just going the distance and like she has a legitimate, like super high mom care factor for the people and what we do for a living. I mean, it's an all in situation by all the families.
Mario, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
All right, guys. So that's your interview. The Joe Rose Show. Mario Cristobal actually, spoke on a few topics. Now Joe Rose can't ask some of the tough questions or some of the things that's curious that hits the mind, but it's a time and a place for everything. It is what it is. But anyways, guys, like, share, subscribe. Let me know how you guys are feeling. Still some more coaches to be announced. I'm pretty sure they're coming out pretty soon. The bat signals are out and all that kind of stuff. So, wide receivers coach, of course. I think we're gonna need another coach on the defensive side. I'm not quite sure, but we'll find out whether or not they make any more changes on the defensive side. Like, share, subscribe, guys. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Oh.